Sorry, excuse me. Hello everyone. This is today we are going to be discussing the 5 top snipers to use in the Plains of Eidolon. Now, funny enough, there are only 5 snipers, but I couldn't come up with another name for them. So I'm just pretty much going to go through the list and just talk about which I feel would be best to use within the Plains of Eidolon. So at number 5 we have the Snipertron. Now the Snipertron is a corpus-made sniper rifle, and it has a 20% crit chance and a 1.5% crit multiplier and a 10% status chance, and it deals 17.5 impact, 17.5 slash, and 140 puncture damage. Now, compared to the rest of the sniper rifles, that's honestly not a lot, considering the amount of damage. I mean, yeah, it has puncture damage, which is all in great, but its status chance isn't high enough to make up for the poor status chance, and the firing rate is kind of low, so that's why it is at the bottom of my list. And at number 4 we have the Rubico, which has a 25% crit chance, a 3.0 crit multiplier, a 5% status chance, and 10 slash, 160 impact, and 30 puncture. Now, this definitely deals a lot more. This definitely deals more damage than the Snipertron, and it has better supplemental stats. It has a better crit chance, even though it has a lower status chance. But it has more rounds in a magazine, I believe, and it has a I believe a faster reload rate than the Snipertron. And plus, there are some changes coming to the Rubico that are going to make it better, but we'll get to that in just a few. Oh shit! So at number 3 in my list is the Volcar Wraith, and I am specifically talking about the Volcar Wraith. These are not the stats for the Volcar itself, but in fact for the Volcar Wraith. Now the Volcar Wraith has a 20% crit chance, a 2.0 crit multiplier, a 25% status chance, and it deals 0 slash damage, 225 impact, and 25 puncture. And as you can tell, it has a really good status chance, and it has a really nice crit multiplier and crit chance. So it has really nice supplemental stats that are gonna help it out, and it has a good base damage, and it has a large magazine and a pretty decent firing rate and reload speed, which is all just very nice. And there's also, on my Volcar Wraith, I have the new Loca mod, which gives it 60% dead aim and some more damage, and it'll also give you, when you proc it'll give you a corrosive proc, which will be good since the Plains of Eidolon is made up of greenier enemies, which is why it made its way on number 2 number 3 on my list. And speaking of number 2 on my list is the Lanka. Now, the Lanka has a 25% crit chance, a 2.0% crit multiplier, a 25% status chance, and it deals 525 electric damage. And that it has really good supplemental stats. It has more crit chance than the Volcar Wraith, but it has like the rest of the same supplemental stats because it does a lot more damage. and that electric damage can be paired with corrosive and radiation to easily take down those Grineer enemies. And number 1 on my list is no surprise because it's pretty obvious. It's the Vectus Prime. Now the Vectus Prime has a 25% crit chance, a 2.0 crit multiplier, a 30% status chance, and it deals oh, going back for a second. The Lanka is also a charge. You need to charge it before firing, and rather than shooting a bullet, so it's not hit scan, it is a projectile weapon, so it will take some time to hit the enemy, so you may want to account for that. But it should be pretty simple, and you can always add on mods to increase the flight speed, like terminal velocity. Okay, and now coming back, the Vectus Prime has 48.7 flash, 130 impact, and 146.3 puncture damage, which is the puncture is really good for Grineer enemies, getting through their ferrite armor, and the slash damage is also really good because it bypasses enemy armor, so you're going to be able to easily take down the Grineer, and it has a lovely status chance, so you'll be able to add corrosive damage as I put on mine, and you can also add oh god, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, you can. It has also a really good a crit chance and crit multiplier. Oh my god. Okay, and now they are also making some changes to the to snipers themselves, and in fact every single sniper is in one form or another getting a touch up for the Prince of Eidolon. And I just went on the website on the Reddit forums and looked at the changes. I'm just gonna read them to you. And there's plenty of time to format your weapons, or at least there is for me, because I'm on console, and we will not be receiving the Plains of Eidolon for about another 3 weeks. And people are saying it's gonna be sooner than that, but I've been playing this game for a very long time, for oh god, what, like 3-4 years now, and it definitely is gonna take about 3 weeks, because it's not that because a lot of the updates to console or even PC are delayed longer, and not because it's like not because the people at this glitches delays or anything, but they want to put out a quality product rather than having us play some buggy game that is glitching and messing up every 5 seconds. So some general changes that they're making to all of the snipers is that they are reducing the sway of your reticle. They are taking that completely off. There's no more sway when you aim in, which is a really good thing, especially on enemies that are quite far away, as they can be on the Plains of Eidolon, given how massive the terrain in the map actually is. And another thing that they're doing is there is now a 1 meter innate punch through on all snipers, and then you can also, if you're looking for more punch through, you can add more punch through to it, but just right off the bat, no extra mods, you get a 1 meter punch through for your snipers. Another thing that they are changing is that the combo meter will now decay rather than just completely going away. It's like the Arca Cisco, rather than as it is now, where if you don't shoot someone or if you miss, it'll be all completely gone. But in the new Plains of Eidolon update, it'll take, if you miss, it'll take off your combo meter by 1, or if you're just not shooting in time, then it'll just decay by 1 every 2 seconds, rather than just completely going away, which I believe is a really, really fantastic buff to snipers. And and additional bullets from multi-shot will now count as their own towards the combo multiplier. So like if you hit and you have multi-shot, then you could gain multiple hits for your combo for the combo counter on your sniper. But if you have a multi-shot and you miss, then you could lose more than one on the combo counter. And another thing that they did is the combo counter will start to decay if you don't shoot an enemy within 2 seconds on all snipers except for the Lanka, which is 6 seconds, which is good because you do need time to charge up the Lanka. And the damage fall off, which is new for snipers, they damage fall off goes from, it begins at 40 meters and it ends at 600 meters, and anything beyond 600 meters loses 50% of its damage. But 600 meters is a ridiculous length away, and I doubt you'll be able to hit anything from that far anyway. So some sniper-specific changes is the Vectis change. So the fire rate is increased from 1.5 to 2.67, so that is a pretty decent firing rate buff. And the first zoom went from 15% damage to 35% headshot damage, and the zoom and the first level of zoom went from 4 times zoom to 3.5 times zoom. And for the second zoom, it went from 20% damage, as you can see, 20% damage. It went from 20% damage, and it now deals 55% additional headshot damage, which is all really good. And they decreased the second level zoom from a 10 times zoom to a 6 times zoom. And the Snipertron changes, and if you have the Snipertron Vandal, they're all the same. So I'm just gonna read them, and this counts for the Snipertron and the Snipertron Vandal. There are no differences individually with the. There are no changes individually to them. So the fire rate went up from 1.5 to 2, which is it's a decent buff. And the zoom, in the first zoom, it went from 10% damage to 30% headshot damage, and the second zoom went from 15% damage to 50% headshot damage. So it looks like with the Snipertron, they did not decrease the zoom level itself, how far in it zooms, but rather the damage that it will deal. And next is the Rubico. The Rubico, its fire rate increased from 1.5 to 2.67. Again, another really decent buff to the Rubico. And the first zoom went down from 5 times magnification to 3.5 times magnification. And for the second zoom, it went from 12 times magnification to 6 times magnification. So it does not. So with the Rubico, it does not appear to change the damage type as it is right now, but rather the levels of zoom. So it's like the opposite. It's like the opposite of the Snipertron. Let me find life support real quick. Okay. Next on our list is the Volker, which the first level of zoom went from, now instead of dealing 15% damage, deals 35% headshot damage, and the second level of Zoom went from dealing 15% damage to 55% headshot damage, and the second level of Zoom went from 6 times magnification to 4 times magnification. And the third level of Zoom went from 20% damage to 70% headshot damage. And the third level of Zoom went from 12 times magnification to 8 times magnification. And there is a difference for the Wraith. If you have the Volcar Wraith, it will now, its fire rate went up from 1.5 to 2. So, you know, they're pretty much the same except you get a little extra. You get to fire a little bit faster with the Volcar Wraith. And last, but certainly not least, is the Lanka. Now, the Lanka's charge went from 1.5 to 1, and the second level of Zoom went from 7 times magnification to 5 times. And the third level of Zoom went from 12 times magnification to 8 times. So this is all really good to decrease the level of magnification, because honestly, when using snipers, especially in like close quarters like the Void or on a ship or stuff like that, it can give you a headache from how zoomed it can get. But I feel like decreasing the magnification levels are a good part on DEE's end to allow people who do have sensitive eyes to be able to better play snipers and play them more frequently. And with the Volcar honestly got the most buffs, but it still only deals impact damage, which is not necessarily strong against Grineer enemies, so that's why it's still number 3. And the Lanka got a pretty sizable buff as well, but yeah, it's pretty clear to see why the Vectis Prime is at number 1 on my list. And I'm honestly extremely excited for Plains of Eidolon. I cannot wait to play it. I have been waiting since TennoCon when they first revealed it. Thank you very much for watching.